One day my husband told me something unbelievable. "Mom is moving in with us at the beginning of next month," he announced. At that time he only talked to me when it was necessary, and we hardly had any real conversations. "That's pretty sudden, isn't it? Are you okay with this?" I asked. "It's not that. I just wonder if your mom knows," I replied. "Don't worry, there's no way she would refuse," he said, acting like it was the most natural thing in the world. I had been putting up with his condescending attitude and creepy smile for a long time. Now was the time to get back at him. I had been playing the obedient wife just for this moment. "You know what to do, right?" he asked. "Yes, I know," I replied. 10 seconds after he finished talking, I called the lawyer I had arranged. "Sorry, but please proceed." Then I called the moving company. I had been waiting for this moment. "Yes, please come right away. Take all the furniture, appliances, everything in the house." "What the hell are you talking about?" he asked, clearly upset. "I'm leaving, just like you wanted," satisfied. "Why are you taking everything?" he stammered. What a pathetic man, but he still didn't know that the real pain was just about to start. "My name is Helena. I turned 30 this year. I work at City Hall. I wanted my parents to see their grandchild as soon as possible, so when I was 28, I met my husband, Martin. A mutual friend introduced us, and we ended up having a meal together. According to our friend, we both wanted to get married early, so they arranged the meeting thoughtfully. I'm a bit shy by nature. By the way, Helena, do you work as a public servant?" he asked. "Oh yes," I replied. "Any favorite foods?" he asked. "Well, I'm good with anything," I said. Our conversations didn't last long, just like this one. I felt like I should have just declined and gone home quickly. At that time, I thought Martin was probably bored too. But everything changed when Martin said one thing. "Hey, isn't that keychain on your bag a limited edition one?" "Huh? You know about this?" I asked, surprised. "Of course I have the same one," he said, showing me his keychain. Sure enough, the same keychain was attached to it. I was pleasantly surprised to meet someone who shared the same hobby. After that, the atmosphere completely changed, and we had a great time. We obviously made plans to meet again. "Will you go out with me with marriage in mind?" Martin said that on our third date. I didn't expect him to say it, but I still remember the joy I felt. It felt like I was dancing. "If you're okay with me," I said, and that's how our relationship began. By the way, public servants don't face layoffs, right? Yes, they're generally considered stable as long as you don't do anything weird. You can work until retirement, right? "Is there a problem?" he asked. "No, it's just something I've been curious about," he replied. After that, Martin frequently asked questions about public servants. At that time, he was just a regular office worker, probably seeking stability. 3 months later, he proposed, and I accepted. However, I gave him one condition: not to live together with anyone else. That's how our married life began. But after marriage, Martin showed his true face, and it was awful. "Since we're going to live together now, I'll help with the housework as much as I can." "Really? That would be a great help," I said, relieved. "Leave it to me," he said. At first, splitting the housework, including cleaning and laundry, went well. I appreciated his cooperation and enjoyed doing chores together. But at some point, he stopped helping with the housework and started lunging around the house. I couldn't predict such a change would come. "Can you help with the cleaning?" "Cleaning? Sorry, I'm a bit busy. Can't it wait?" "How long will it take?" I asked. "I can't say for sure," he replied. He said he was busy, but he was just messing around on his phone and computer, not looking busy at all. The most he would do was sort the garbage. Even just taking it out would have been fine, but I always ended up handling the important things myself. Then one morning he said, "I'll be late today, so I don't need dinner." "How late? Around what time?" I asked. When I asked that, I thought I heard him click his tongue. How would I know? If I said I'll be late, then I'll be late, Martin replied, clearly irritated. I couldn't understand why he was so angry when I just asked a simple question. Then I did something that rubbed him the wrong way. "How can you not know?" "Shut up. I told you I don't know," he snapped. "Sorry, you really ruined my mood this morning. Just stop it," he said as he left for work. After that, I felt remorseful. I went to work with a heavy heart. "What's the matter today? You don't seem well," my boss, Mona, who is 3 years older than me, asked. "I'm sorry, I messed up a bit this morning," I replied. "From the looks of it, did something happen with your husband?" "Huh? Can you tell?" After nearly 10 years of marriage, I felt I could trust her with my concerns, so I told her about the morning's events. "Maybe you asked him one too many times." "I thought so, but that might not be the only issue." "What do you mean?" I asked, concerned. "My husband was in a similar situation before," Mona said, making me feel uneasy. I had a bad feeling from what Mona was saying. I could sense something was wrong. What happened in the end? I asked cautiously, were there any other strange changes? I thought about it, and the only other issue I could think of was that Martin wasn't helping with the housework. When I told Mona about that, she crossed her arms and seemed to ponder something. This is just my opinion, but could it be that something happened at work? In my case, when I confronted my husband, I found out he had been laid off. What did you do then? I asked. I wasn't angry, but I felt sad that he didn't tell me about it. Men tend to have too much pride, don't they? That's true. So they're too embarrassed to talk about it themselves. I felt a pang of anxiety in my chest. What if Mona was right? With my personality, I didn't think I could directly ask Martin. That day, I couldn't focus on work and went home feeling restless and uneasy. What should I do? Then an idea came to mind. I immediately picked up the phone. Hello, I wanted to ask you something about Martin. Sure, but what is it? I was just wondering how Martin's job has been lately. You mean if things are going well? Yeah, I was hoping you'd heard something. I ran into him the other day, and he didn't seem to have any problems. Got it, thanks. Sorry for calling out of the blue. The worries I had vanished. If Martin's longtime friend vouched for him, I could believe it. If there were no problems, that was enough. Time passed, but it became more noticeable that Martin was coming home late. Are you coming home late again tonight? Yeah, I've been a bit busy lately. Okay, don't overdo it. Yeah, I know. Then one day I saw something unexpected. Around noon on my way to the convenience store, a car drove past. It was only for a moment, but I immediately recognized the driver as Martin. But something was wrong. What's the matter? My friend asked. No, it's just, I feel like I just saw Martin drive past in a car. Wait, doesn't your husband commute by train? Yes, and it should take about an hour to get to his workplace by train. My previous anxiety resurfaced. Unable to stay still, I decided to follow him. I caught up quickly as the car stopped at a traffic light. The car pulled into a parking lot. Is that an internet cafe? Why would he be here? Mona's words echoed in my head. Could your husband be out of a job? I quickly took out my phone and snapped a picture of him entering the cafe. You startled me when you suddenly took off running, my friend said. I'm sorry, I just wanted to confirm it properly. So, what did you find? As I mentioned before, my husband might have quit his job. Well, the next step is up to you, but I'm always here to listen. Come on, lunch break is almost over. Let's head back. That night, I made up my mind and asked Martin, did you really go to work today? Huh. Of course I did. Then what's this? I showed him the picture. His face immediately changed color, so I guess I've been caught. As you suspected, Helena, I quit my job. Even though I sensed it, hearing it directly from him was so shocking that my mind went blank. But he had lied to me, and this was just the beginning. Why did you do that? I asked, overwhelmed by feelings I couldn't explain. I've always wanted to be a writer. A writer? I didn't know how to respond to that confession. I was speechless at his unexpected answer. Then Martin raised his voice and said, I always thought it was impossible, but in the end, I wanted to pursue my dream. Without consulting me at all, I couldn't understand what he was thinking. The thought that he had been living with me while thinking about this all along made me lose trust in him. More questions arose in my mind. Is this something you've wanted since before we got married? Yeah, even back then I was thinking about quitting my job someday to spend more time on what I love. Doesn't that count as betraying me? Huh? Why would you say that? Isn't it obvious? After proposing, you asked me so many questions about my job as a public servant, but you actually intended to quit your job to chase your dream all along, didn't you? Martin began laughing as if he had been liberated and started answering, yeah, that's right. But your salary was lower than I expected, which I didn't plan for. What? But don't worry, I'll figure something out soon, and our income will increase. Deep down, I thought there was no way this plan would succeed, but I couldn't bring myself to say it, so I swallowed my words. From the next day, Martin became less considerate of me and began acting differently than before. His behavior and words made me feel that something was changing in our relationship. He started looking down on me and giving orders. I'm going to focus on writing from now on, so don't interrupt me. Soon, you'll be the wife of a best-selling author. Understood? I thought it was impossible, so I contacted my friend again. I started to suspect that my friend might have lied to me too, but I quickly realized that wasn't the case. Just as I was about to contact her, she called me. Great timing. Can I go first? Martin quit his job, but did you really not know about it? I asked. Hold on, she said. Did he say he quit on his own? Yes, he did, I replied. My friend's reaction wasn't what I expected. Her expression seemed to say, that's not right. I heard this from someone, but it seems like Martin didn't quit. He was laid off. Wait, laid off? You mean he was fired? Yes, and the reason was because he embezzled company funds. You've got to be kidding. But that's a crime. I never thought he'd go this far. It seems he finally crossed a line he shouldn't have. I heard he avoided prosecution by paying everything back, she continued. Even if that's true, what's wrong is wrong. And there's more. As soon as I heard my friend's words, my head started to hurt. How awful a man could he be? The story so far was already bad enough, but there was still more. I took a deep breath. So, what else has he done? I asked. When I heard what she said, I felt pity before surprise, but now Martin had no escape. I had crucial evidence in my hands. Thank you for the information. So what are you going to do now? She asked. Do you want to hear? Nah, I can kind of imagine, so I'll pass. And so the desire for revenge against him grew stronger within me. I thought that just laying out the facts wouldn't be satisfying enough, so I decided to give him despair so crushing that he couldn't recover. For a while, I played the role of the obedient wife, planning to drag him down from his current height to the depths of despair. How's the writing going? I asked him. It's going well. Maybe I should let you read it. I'd love to read it, I replied. When I read his novel, I was stunned, not because I thought it was amazing. On the contrary, it was so terrible that I was speechless. I think it's a pretty good piece. I really like it. I lied to make him happy. He cheerfully returned to his room. Around that time, I started noticing my mother-in-law's behavior. I didn't have much interaction with her because I didn't like her, but after finding out about Martin's situation, she began contacting me more frequently. Most of her messages were complaints, and when I'd say it must have been really tough, she'd reply, exactly. Her complaints mainly revolved around my late father-in-law, who passed away before I started dating Martin. Apparently he was quite the authoritarian husband, and she seemed to have been haunted by that past for a long time. Whenever I gently brought up Martin, she'd say, "It's only natural for a wife to support her husband, isn't it?" "Didn't I just tell you that?" I'd reply. She'd then continue, "When my husband was alive." But no matter if the topic changed, she'd eventually circle back to talking about my father-in-law. I was halfway to giving up on her. She didn't seem to feel any guilt about Martin either. For a while, my mother-in-law continued to contact me, but one day her calls suddenly stopped. Talking to her was exhausting, so I was secretly relieved when she stopped reaching out. Then one day, my husband said something unbelievable. "Mom is moving in with us at the beginning of next month," he announced. At that time, he only spoke to me when necessary, and we hardly had any conversation. "That's quite sudden, isn't it? Do you have anything against that?" I asked. "It's not that, but I just wonder if your mom knows." "Don't worry, there's no way she would refuse," he replied, as if it were as natural as breathing. It seemed like he hadn't told her yet, but knowing my mother-in-law, she probably wouldn't refuse. "But what about the preparations?" I asked. "I'll take care of that." "Do I need to do anything?" "You have a more important role to play," he said. I immediately understood what he meant. I'd been enduring his condescending attitude and creepy smile for a long time. Now was the time to get back at him. I'd been playing the obedient wife just for this. "You know what to do, right?" he asked. "Yes, I know," I replied. 10 seconds after he finished talking, I called the lawyer I had arranged. "Sorry, but please proceed." Then I called the moving company. I'd been waiting for this moment, ignoring Martin's shout of, "Who are you calling?" I continued my conversation. "Yes, please come right away. Take all the furniture, appliances, everything in the house." "What are you talking about?" Martin asked, clearly upset. "I'm leaving, just like you wanted," satisfied. "Why are you taking everything?" "They're available right now, so they'll be here soon," I replied. 15 minutes later, the movers arrived. I immediately gave them instructions. "Stop them right now," Martin yelled. "Wasn't I the one who bought most of the things in this house, or did you forget? But even so, you insisted on buying new stuff even though we didn't have the money." "Oh, I see, that's why you used your company's money, isn't it?" He stood there stunned and wide-eyed, probably shocked that I knew about it. What a fool. How could you do something so disgusting? "You're the lowest of the low," I confronted him. "Who told you that?" he stammered. "That's not the issue. Everything has come to light. Did you say you wanted to be a writer just to cover up the fact that you were fired?" "No, that's not it. Writing really was my dream," he insisted. As we argued, all the furniture and appliances disappeared from the room. Seeing the empty room, Martin looked devastated, and I couldn't help but laugh. "Why are you laughing?" he asked. That's when I decided to push him even further. I called my mother-in-law. "Who are you calling now? Just stop this, all right?" "No, we're just getting started. Your mom is coming." "What if she arrives now? What am I going to do?" "Figure it out yourself." "I can't," he said, his voice breaking. Martin still seemed to be hiding something. "Is there something else you're not telling me?" I asked. "I don't have any money right now, and Mom is drowning in gambling debt. Please, you have to help me. At that moment, he started to cry. Seeing a grown man crying right in front of me was just pathetic. That's not my problem. She's your mother, so deal with it yourself. Asking for help like this is disgraceful. The sudden drop in contact from my mother-in-law was undoubtedly because she was too engrossed in gambling. They're both hopeless, mother and son. 30 minutes later, my mother-in-law arrived with a bang. "Welcome, please come in." I led her to the living room, where nothing was left. There, sitting on the floor and still crying, was Martin. Seeing this, my mother-in-law was left speechless, frozen with her mouth wide open. "What on earth happened, and why is the room empty?" she demanded. "I'll explain everything now." I turned to my mother-in-law and began telling her the truth. "Wait, hold on. This isn't a lie, right?" "No, it's not a lie. It's all true. If you don't believe me, ask Martin yourself." "Martin, explain yourself properly," she ordered. Martin was visibly terrified of his mother's words. The scene that followed was unbearable to watch. Martin couldn't even give his mother a straight answer. "I understand everything now. This woman is the root of the problem." Unexpectedly, my mother-in-law made me her target. I couldn't hide my surprise at her reaction. "You should be the one solving this problem," she said. But I didn't need to endure anymore. Neither Martin nor my mother-in-law mattered to me anymore. "I'm the victim here. Why am I being blamed?" I protested. "Whether you're a victim or not isn't the issue," she replied. I sighed and went to my room to fetch something. "There's no point in talking. Look at this." I threw a document down in front of Martin. "Is this a divorce paper? You can see it for yourself. You wanted me out of this house, right?" Martin tried to mount one last defense, but little did he know how futile it would be. "You're going to regret divorcing me. Don't think a woman like you will find someone else to marry. You really don't understand anything, do you?" "What are you talking about?" he asked, confused. I then showed him several photos of him leaving a hotel with a young woman I didn't recognize. Martin turned pale as he looked at the photos. "You understand now, right, Mother? This man embezzled from his company and cheated on me. He's just a useless man." "Please stop this. I'll apologize." "I'm not looking for an apology. Where did all that bravado go?" Watching my mother-in-law corner Martin, I realized how much trouble he was in. "Did you really go this far? What were you thinking?" she asked. "It was just a moment of weakness." "No excuses. I don't remember raising you like that," she scolded. Predicting their conversation would drag on, I threw a decisive remark at Martin. "Well, don't forget the property division." "Property division? I don't have anything to pay." "I'll leave that matter to the lawyer. You should be hearing from them soon." "Wait." He tried to cling to me, but I pushed him away. As he crumpled to the floor, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. "Goodbye. The rest is up to you two." "Please don't leave me," Martin pleaded. When Martin tried to chase after me, his mother stopped him. "First, you need to explain yourself properly." "I'll explain in detail later. This isn't the time for that. If things continue like this, it's really over. You can't even listen to your mother." I left them both and walked out of the house. As much as I wanted to see more, I couldn't bear to stay another second. Hellish days awaited the two of them, but that was no longer my concern. "Please, can't we talk one more time and work this out?" This was what Martin said when I returned to my parents' house. "Do you really mean that?" "I'm serious. At least Mom has gone home." "Oh, I see. But sorry, that's not going to happen." "Why not?" "If you can't understand that much, then you should just give up." Truly pathetic. No matter what happens, Martin is no longer my concern. 2 weeks later, the divorce was finalized through the lawyer, and he was ordered to pay property division. Moreover, it seems he took out loans to repay the embezzled money, so it looks like his struggles are far from over. In the end, Martin couldn't even pay the rent and ended up moving back in with his mother. However, her place was also rented, so they eventually moved to a cheap apartment. Now I hear my mother-in-law works at the local supermarket day and night. They're always fighting, and their arguments have become quite notorious in the neighborhood. I've heard from someone living near their apartment that their quarrels are an everyday occurrence. Apparently, they curse at each other daily, causing a lot of trouble for the other residents with their noise. This is how it all ended up. Yes, too much has happened, and I'm exhausted. Well, it's time to relax now. Yes, I will. From now on, I want to enjoy life just for myself. I'm now living fulfilling days by finding new hobbies, traveling with friends, and focusing on work. I never want to go back to that kind of married life again. When I think about the stress and hardships, I truly appreciate how wonderful my current peaceful and free life is. Once in a lifetime is more than enough for such an experience. From now on, I want to cherish myself and live a happy life.